Hey, what is up everybody? I got my hands on the LG G4 and let's just take a look at it. You know how the boy does, we keep getting these older devices and we keep reviewing them because nobody else does it like me. Now, the LG G4 came out in 2015. It came out the early part of 2015. And the first thing I noticed as soon as I got this was that the bezels for the LG G4 specifically were a little bit bigger and noticeable than the G3 and G2. More so the sides, the G2 really didn't have any side bezels, but this one did. It's not a really big deal. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but that's the first thing I noticed. And just holding it in the hands, I literally love the body. Like, it's curved, it looks so nice. It's pretty much built out of plastic, so it doesn't feel that premium, but I just love that curve. The buttons are in the back as well. There's no fingerprint sensor, which is kind of a bummer, but the G5 had a fingerprint sensor, and it has a 5.5 inch screen, same thing as the LG G3. It's also Quad HD as well. Now the back is removable, and it has a removable battery and even a micro SD card slot, so that's super awesome. I literally love that. There's pretty much no phone manufacturer still doing that, but when the G4 came out, that was awesome. And speaking about the back, there's a 16 megapixel camera on it. It's actually pretty good, and LG, in my opinion, makes really good cameras. It can shoot 4K videos, and it doesn't have any 60 frames per second options for filming videos, but it shoots 2160p videos at 30 frames per second. The front camera is pretty decent. It's 8 megapixels. I would honestly rate the cameras like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10, especially in today's standards, but it's not bad at all. Performance-wise, it's running a hexa-core processor, 3GB of RAM, and a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808, and performance isn't that bad at all. Now, it is running LG's UI. I'm not really a huge fan of it, but like I say in almost every video, you can root this phone and you can put a custom ROM on it, which I would highly recommend. And the biggest reason about that, especially for this phone, is because one, it's pretty powerful in terms of specs, but two, it only got 2 Android updates. It started off with Android 5.1.1 and it only got Android 6.0. It was planned to getting Android 7.0, but it never did, which, even if it did get 7.0 now, it's still outdated if you think about it. That's why the hype for LG phones kind of declined, especially nowadays. But Android Marshmallow runs fairly well on it. It's not even like 6.1, it's literally Android 6.0. But yeah, multitasking and everything isn't bad at all. I noticed the phone does get a little hot. That's probably one of the biggest downsides of it, especially when I notice when I'm downloading like multiple apps, it just randomly starts getting hot. So that's really weird. I don't really like that, but the phone does also get a little hot when I'm gaming on it. Overall, gaming isn't that bad. I can play casual games and stuff like that. Higher intensity games like Real Racing 3 still have a few glitched frames here and there, but it's definitely way less noticeable than the LG G3. If you guys remember when I did the G3 video, Real Racing 3 for some reason was horrible on it. It was glitchy all over the place, but at least on the G4 it's a bit more playable. There's still a few glitch frames though. Battery life is probably where it sucks a lot at too. It has a 3000 mAh battery. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not the best feature of this phone. Now, I might be able to get a day with using it, especially on my usage, but I would probably have to charge it closer towards the end of the day. But you have to remember that the battery is removable, so you can, swap out the battery for another LG battery. But what I would highly recommend is to pick up like a Zero Lemon or whatever those bigger batteries are and place that in this phone. It might make the phone a little thicker. You might have to get another removable back or something like that, but I would highly recommend doing that, especially if you're going to get this phone. I'll leave some links in the description for the ones that I would recommend. I would highly recommend you getting it though. Now, the main problem with LG phones, and especially around the time that the LG G4 was made, is that there were boot loop problems. And I've said this in every single LG phone video I've done because it's so persistent. And it did exist with this phone. I think less people had it on this phone than the G3, and less people had it on the G3 than the G2. I think every single person I've ever known that had the G2 had that problem happen to them eventually, but it still happens. So, that's a kind of a risk you have to remember. Just know that it existed. So is the LG G4 still worth it in 2018? I would say that yes, it is worth it, but like I said with the G3 video, it might be a little bit of a risk. It's still completely usable. If you put a ROM on it, that makes the phone experience even better. But the boot loop issues are really the only thing that makes me hesitant of recommending it 100%. But if you're looking for even a trap phone that you can just carry with you if you're going somewhere, or you need a phone that'll last you for a little bit until you get the next phone, this is not a bad option. It still has quite a bit of life left in it. And like I said, you root it, ROM it, it's only prolonging the life of it even more. And guys, that is pretty much it. I got some super dope videos coming out. Guys, I'm reading your comments. You guys are telling me to get a bunch of stuff and I'm working on getting them. I love seeing you guys, get this, and review it. Like, I'm on it. Don't worry about it. I got you guys. But if you're new to my channel, definitely hit the subscribe button. That'll mean a lot. Hit the like button as well. That'll mean a lot as well. Comment down if you guys want me to get anything, questions, answers. Leave it down in the comment section. I read all the comments. Check out the links in the description as well. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.